Want to learn about building codes for safety glass requirements beside bathtubs and showers? Well, here are some clips from my on-demand course, IRC Chapter 3, The Human Element, available only at buildingcodecollege.com. The 2021 International Residential Code details 7 locations in section R308.4 where there's a higher probability someone will stumble and fall into or through nearby glass. These locations require safety glazing, and here's a clip about one of them. All right, now we're back to a subject that's covered under the Consumer Product Safety Commission standard, doors and enclosures around wet surfaces. So this section is going to apply to windows around bathtubs, as well as shower doors and enclosures around these showers. And it's also for glass that's in a proximity just outside of bathtubs and showers, where we're likely to still have a wet floor. So this is a great picture because we definitely see lots of hazardous locations kind of overlapping here. Now, this hazardous location also applies to windows in proximities to hot tubs and swimming pools. Now, required safety glazing only applies if the glass is less than 60 inches above a standing or walking surface. But that's not just inside the tub. As I said, that's also the area just outside of the tub where you've got splashing and wet surfaces. So if you look at this example, you might ask yourself, is this a tub deck that's probable that someone will be standing on this? And what's the risk if they do? Well, it's a pretty large risk. So interpreting it to this tub deck is probably a reasonable interpretation. Now, this tub deck, you can certainly see how someone could step out and stand onto it. And as we said, water is wet and slippery on these walking surfaces just outside. So safety glazing is required within 60 inches horizontally of the water's edge. And of course, when it's less than 60 inches above that walking surface. Now, this is measured in a straight line from the water's edge, so we're not trying to wrap around corners. It's where someone would likely trip and hit the glass. And so essentially we'd be covering this area right here. Now, as I discussed in an earlier session, enclosures around bathtubs and similar is regulated by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, except for the footnote for the conditions of pool enclosures. That's not covered by the federal standard, and that's where you can now use the ANSI standard. So windows like this, for example. And that's the purpose of that footnote that we went over previously. I hope those clips were helpful to you. For the full on-demand course, go to buildingcodecollege.com and click the link to the course catalog. Near the top of the list of courses, you'll find IRC Chapter 3, The Human Element. You can watch the first course video by simply clicking the thumbnail image. For 4 months of 24/7 access to the full 3-hour ICC-approved course, it's only $45 and a few clicks away. But you can get 10% off any enrollment using the coupon code YouTube.